is delivering tax cuts for the bottom 80% and raising it on the top 20%. So which party is really the party of tax cuts by that logic? The party of the tax cuts for the people who need it? The party of the tax cuts for the people who would be benefited by it? That would be the Democrats, right? And I've often said I've never been a tax cut on working class people that I didn't love. There's some that I wouldn't touch because, like, you don't want to cut Social Security taxes because then you underfund Social Security, and that's a problem for Social Security. So there's certain ones I wouldn't touch. But of the ones that have been proposed, yeah, I like the idea. Better services for everybody in this country, but who should carry the burden? Who should bear the burden? It should be the wealthy. It should be the top 10%, top 5%, top 1%. We should have a progressive tax system. For the first time in my life, it was under the first Trump administration, for the first time in my life, the billionaires paid a lower effective tax rate than your average working class family. Stop and think about that. So you make 50, 80 grand a year, you were paying effectively a higher tax rate, federal tax rate, than the billionaires were. Guys, that's not even a flat tax. That's a regressive tax. And don't even get me started on the ProPublica analysis that shows, hey, here's how much the actual wealthiest billionaires pay, and some of them were paying literal nothing. Some of them were paying 3%. I think the most any of them were paying was like 8% or something. It was like Bloomberg or somebody like that was paying 5 or 8%. And that was supposed to be like, oh, he's paying the most, right? They have a million loopholes to exploit, and they have an army of accountants and experts and attorneys who say, hey, here's how you do legal tax avoidance. Here's how you evade all the taxes. Now, meanwhile, you try that if you're a working class person, the IRS will be knocking down your door and fucking charging you. But they get away with it. They get away with it. And so the point of this ad is completely right. That Republicans always talk about they're going to cut your taxes. They're not going to cut your fucking taxes. Trump is raising taxes on you. He's only cutting it on the wealthiest people in the country. And the Democrats, even though they never talk about like, oh, we're gonna cut taxes for working people or whatever, their plans that they introduce always lead to saving more money on taxes if you're middle or lower income. It always does. Like I said, Obama's did versus McCain's, and today Trump versus Kamala's, same deal, right? So what people need to be willing to do in the political realm, you have to look through the bullshit talking points. You have to look through the PR and the marketing. You have to actually go to the substance, to the policies. And once you go to the policies, you find out very quickly there's some fucking demons in this country, bro, with demonic-ass policy ideas. And they'll try to take the rough edges off of it sometimes and fluff it up and try to pretend like it's better than it is. But no, the Republicans have just nightmare ideas for this country. Nightmare ideas. And what you're seeing in this ad, there's a lot of that goes on in the sense that Republican politicians, all they do is service their donors and service the military-industrial complex. That's it. That's it. That's all they care about, which is why you're seeing a billionaire robber baron corporate coup and you're seeing a fascist takeover at the same time, right? And for all the flaws of the Democrats, and they have many, the Democrats have never and will never out-corrupt the Republicans. They just won't. They just won't. There's too many members of the coalition, like lawyers and teachers and unions. People made a big deal about the Teamsters staying out of the race of Trump versus Kamala, but like 80 to 90% of the unions all endorsed the Democrat. That's what they do, right? So there's too many special interest groups, which kind of is a pejorative these days, so I should just say many different parts of the coalition that are just not as corporate and not as corrupt. And so you're always going to see from the Republicans, they let it all fucking hang out. It's all like, it's corporatism to the max. It is service your donors to the max. To the point where you might find him in a closet blowing some fucking billionaire douchebag. So, brutal political ad. You guys comment below. Is this the most brutal political ad you've ever seen? And if you happen to know who made it, give them a shout out in the comments below, because this is a good ad. This is what we need. We've been saying, hey, Democrats need to take the gloves off forever. Well, this is an example of exactly that. And it works. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.